while that was going on, President Obama had asked in early 2012 for his council and advisors on science and technology, what's known as PCAST. It's a permanent part of the White House Office on Science and Technology Policy in DC. A lot of these are National Academy members, National Academy of Engineering, and National Academy of Sciences members from around the country that serve on PCAST. And he had asked them to study agriculture and the food space specifically, about what should be done to invest differently in the agriculture and food space. And the report of that group came out about a month and a half ago in early December. I would encourage you to read this report. It's not a hard read. I would encourage you to go to the web and read this report because it has some significant things in it that, if they are paid attention to, could reformulate the way we think about doing agricultural research, education, and extension, and bolster it quite a bit. It calls for an increased investment of $700 million a year at the federal level. Currently, we invest about 2.7 in total over everything we do, including the Ag Statistics Service, including the Economic Research Service, including the Ag Research Service, including competitive funding, and NIFA as we know it. That's a significant investment. But what's more important is the way they call for that increased investment. That it's called for not specifically in USDA, that it's called for as much so outside of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And you've heard me say before, I think this is smart. I think this is what needs to be done, that we need to start thinking this way. So doubling the basic research budget for food and agriculture topics at NSF and raising that level. Doubling essentially the competitive grants arm of NIFA, so the Ag Food Research Initiative that we play in quite heavily within the competitive grants at USDA, and raising that to $500,000. Now, enough of you are gray hairs like me in the room that know how long it took to get to $265 million. Deb's grinning at me. She was right in the middle of that. So it's taken a long time to get to 265. Going to 500 is a big jump, but I don't think it's out of the question, given the challenges that are ahead. $180 million in new funding for graduate students and postdocs in the food and ag space that may be in USDA, may be augmented by others outside of USDA. I've highlighted this red one because I think it has significant underpinnings for Nebraska, where they're calling for the development of 6 innovation clusters in the heartland, is the language that is used, that are public-private partnerships that leverage both public dollars and private dollars in this space to innovate the next generation of agriculture. That could have significant ramifications for us because I think we are positioned quite well to be the hub of one of those. And those are significant $25 million a year, 4 or 5 years, kind of funding models around those innovation clusters. And by the way, we're developing an innovation campus around food, fuel, and water. So I think that's something we're paying very, very careful attention to. And then an advisory committee for the USDA is called for of scientists to advise the chief scientist at USDA on all these matters.